Hello and welcome to the I'll Try That podcast. This week we are travelling back over to Japan again and we're going to be trying Kirin Ichiban, which is Japan's premium beer. And also Simo is waving a bottle in my face. Kirin Megumi. Is that how Megumi? Is that how am I pronouncing it? Megumi? Yeah. We're very sorry if we butcher any of the translations in this because we will 100% will. Well, when doing research for this, I'm already a bit thrown by some of the names and the way they're sent. But put that all in aside. First things first, let's hit ourselves with a hot topic with Mr. Joe Druitt.
Thank you, Richard. So I thought I'd bring us a bit of, something that should be on everyone's Christmas list, okay? This is for any beer enjoyer, specifically a Guinness innovation. So anyone who enjoys a good Guinness and is looking for that draft Guinness taste, but at home, Guinness has launched an at-home draft tap. Now, this at-home draft tap is being dubbed, and I'm saying already, this is not to overemphasize how much of a big deal this is. It's being dubbed as Guinness's greatest, the biggest dispense innovation for Guinness since the launch of the widget 30 years ago.
Big talk.
Wait there, who's dubbed this? Has Guinness dubbed this? Because that's just great marketing.
No.
This is great.
Yeah, I know we're biased,
Guinness.
Guys, but we've nailed it here. We have.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the meeting? It's like everyone's just looking at each other like, we're bloody awesome. Yeah, we're good at this.
It doesn't actually, exactly. It's just coming from a couple of different articles, but I think there are dozens of them who are saying this is the biggest innovation since
Sliced bread.
Let me tell you more about this because I do think that I'm already getting quite excited. You can probably tell my voice, and I definitely think if I had, this might be something I want on my Christmas list. So Guinness have announced this limited first release of in the UK of a draft tap for homes for Christmas. Now, this was originally sold directly just to bars, whereas now they've opened that up to at-home release as well in a very limited batch. So what this does is try to create the classic two-part pour at home. So you get this kind of machine that looks like a draft tap, and you get these special cans that come with it, with special cans made for this, where basically you insert the can up, one way, and then it spins it upside down, and then it does the certain pour with the tap. So obviously it's a whole contraption going on there, but basically you have a can, you insert the can, and then you tip it upside down using this machine in a very specific way, and it pours you the perfect Guinness at home draft of Guinness.
Everyone's up for that. Go on, Zilla.
Who's been to the Dublin Guinness factory? Has anybody? I've been.
St James's. St James's Gate.
Yeah, so I've been, and I got the opportunity, which is amazing on the tour, where you get to actually pour a proper Guinness, and they teach you how to do it. So I'm guessing that you don't have to actually have any finesse. What you're saying is you stick something in, and it just does it for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean, Guinness are trying to...
The pure laziness of it. I love it.
But also as well, think about it. It's at home. It's got to be suitable that we can do it. So the technologies that Guinness are trying to do with their innovations on their taps is fascinating. We've talked quite a few times about them. We've talked about it before. The bottom filling cups, where you click it in and it comes up from the top, and you see those at rugby matches and things like that.
Has it.
Yeah, exactly.
Big shout out.
We've talked a bit before about the vibrating plates. Have you guys seen these for the Guinness, where you get special cans?
I've always wanted to try the vibrating plate.
They're incredible.
How do you mean? Sorry.
So basically, it goes in. You usually get these at bars as well, but I definitely want to try and see if I can get one at home. And it's basically a plate that's like a beer font, but it has a big gap, and it just has this big silver circular area. You put a glass of Guinness, an empty pint glass of Guinness there. You pour a Guinness from a specific can into this,
and it looks like it's almost like a flat beer, doesn't it? It
looks flat. Yeah. And then this plate and then you turn the machine on, and it vibrates to a level where it then gives you all the
activates the nitrogen or whatever.
Magic, the wonder then happens with this vibrating, and it activates, as you said, probably Barbara. But for me, from my eyes, Guinness just arrives. Just this fantastic vibrated Guinness.
I'm a real big fan of all of these cool inventions and everything like that. But
big but.
How often are you going to use it once you've installed it? I could see if I was to put that in my house, I would have a great time for the first 2 weeks. Going, look at this great contraption. Look at what it does. I don't, and then I just wouldn't use it again because I just go, oh wait, there, I can just do this.
I would. I don't know.
Guinness is different.
Maybe this isn't speaking to you then, Travis. Maybe you're not the true Guinness customer though.
I kind of would be inclined to agree with you, Travis, but I think when we did Guinness, it was your first Guinness, wasn't it?
Oh, like from when I was young. I remember trying one when I was younger, but it was my first one in like a long time.
Yeah. I think
so. What you're telling me, Travis, is you're not going to be shelling out £750 for this new micro draft bar tap.
I am. If I was in the UK, I'd generally consider it for a. It'd be one of those things you ponder over. It's like, it's really cool.
I think if you're the type of person who's already created themselves like their own at-home bar, the one of those bar areas, this is your perfect. Like you have to be getting one of those, or the vibrating plate if they create it.
Do you have to buy special canisters for it? Or is it like...
So it comes with the Guinness micro draft cans and 2 Guinness pint glasses. So you do have to buy special cans. You can't just get a can
as well.
Like if you put it into perspective, you could buy one of those or 750 cream eggs when they come on sale. And I know which one I would want.
We could literally do a whole other episode about what £750 could buy. I would not personally go for 750 cream eggs, but mind you, I wouldn't go for the Guinness beer can turner upside downer anyway.
Micro draft, beer tap,
I would go
£750 worth cream eggs. That is a keen insight for the listeners. This is Travis's lifestyle right there.
7,500 Freddos.
To be fair, boys, if you think about it, an average price of a pint is about £5. Is that right in the UK at the moment? Mm-hmm. You would get 150 pints for that.
Yeah. This is So you've got to buy the cans on top, I suppose, as well.
I think, though, to be fair, the idea behind it is just so spectacular because it's just such a cool, unique thing. And I think I understand where Drab was coming from. Is like, yes, you could buy a lot of cream eggs, but like as Joe said, is like if you love Guinness and you can't be in Dublin, like it's just a cool thing.
To me, it whips a little bit of in case you forgot about Guinness for 5 minutes. Here's your weekly reminder that Guinness exists and you want it.
Well, listen to it. We've talked a bit before about we've done Victoria Bitters very recently. The beer has not changed. A similar situation to Guinness. The beer has not changed for a long, long time. So what do they have to do? They have to do some crazy, fantastic Instagram-worthy, creation of velvet tracksuits for Victoria Bitters, like lime green velvet tracksuits, to kind of get the buzz there. This is Guinness's version of keeping themselves relevant. Guinness is very popular, no matter what. We've already done a whole episode on about how popular they are in all these different countries. But Guinness also have the money behind them to invest in the innovations about the bar, the pouring of this. And this is something very unique to Guinness. No one else can create a beer font that copies this idea, because why would they need to?
It's basically the board at Guinness are in like a Scrooge McDuck situation where they're sat on this giant pile of gold coins. And what next, guys? How about a machine that turns the can upside down for the clients at home? Brilliant, do it. Here's your wad of cash.
A lot of beers do talk about how the font changes how good the beer is. And I do feel like for Guinness, that is a really big deal because Guinness is such a unique beverage. And the fact that everyone gets trained how to do a Guinness properly, you see them, they pour half of it and then they walk away and they're like, I've ordered a Guinness, I'm going to be here for 20 minutes. Because they wait for it to settle and then they go for the second half, don't they? Like normal.
Friendly reminder also that if you're ever in a bar and you're ordering the Guinness, you order it first.
True.
Yeah, there you go. Friendly reminder for all the bartenders out there. Thank you for that because they can get it going. Yeah. But also as well, back to your and Travis's point, it is a little bit insulting the fact that they have to have a machine to tell you how to tip it upside down.
Actually, in many ways, it maybe even,
we don't trust them to get this right.
It maybe even speaks to that the guys at Guinness have just gone, look, oh God, you just can't be trusted to do it yourselves. We'll make you a machine. Okay.
Yeah. I would just like to see their complaints department. They must have just had loads and loads of complaints come through where people are just like, I just can't turn the can over. I can open it, but I just can't pour it. Help.
Do you reckon there was a testing session where they were like, oh, but you have to twist it? Like they had the machine beforehand where the guy had to put it upside down. They're like, no, that's too much effort. So in the testing session, they went, we'll make a machine that just twists it for you. That's basically what they came up with.
Your call may be recorded for training purposes. And you got like the guy from Guinness going, yeah, and what can did you put in the machine? It wasn't Guinness, was it? What did you really put in there? Did you put another stout in there? It's not going to work then, is it, mate? Come on. Anyway, so there's an interesting bit of kit for all the beer lovers out there who are building their own bars.
So guys, do you mind if we move on from Guinness and their innovations, and maybe we can explore enjoyment with Kirin Ichiban?
Yes, I am saying konnichiwa to Kirin Ichiban, and I'm having the... and I think it's just... Sorry, yeah, I was looking for like the other name. I thought Kirin Ichiban was the brewery, but this is, Japan's premium beer, Kirin Ichiban. This is the... Ichiban is the main one from Kirin. Have I got that right? Have I perceived it correctly?
Can I just quickly throw it out there? Is all beer from Japan premium beer?
They'd like you to think so. Yes. Yeah.
There's just a current theme that every Japanese beer we try claims it's a premium beer.
Premium, yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just the ones they export. That could very well be it. I mean, I was reading a little bit about Kirin Ichiban and Sapporo being the two most popular beers in Japan, and it did occur to me that we talked, because obviously I don't think I was on the episode, but with Asahi a long time ago, and obviously you can get Asahi so much over here, and that sort of speaks to me of sort of Japan has gone, well, look, here Ichiban and Sapporo are the really popular ones, so let's see if anyone wants Asahi abroad.
To be fair, it wouldn't really sound great if they went, hey, this is Kirin Ichiban, this is Kirin Ichiban, this is the average beer, to be fair.
Yeah. Standard beer.
So
it's fine.
I mean, to be fair, Kirin Ichiban is actually quite an old brewery. So does anybody know when it was founded?
1888.
Okay, and where? Does anybody know?
Was that right? 1888. Is it just
I thought it was 1869.
Oh, there's some opposing things here.
I thought it was 1888, and I thought it was in Yokohama, Japan.
Well, let's explore your 1869.
Yeah,
so when I was doing a bit of research, so long before the Kirin brand existed, William Copeland, a Norwegian-American brewer, started the Spring Valley Brewery. He founded the brewery in 1869 in the Yamata foreign residential neighborhood of Yokohama. At the time, the beer was almost entirely unknown in Japan. And then that all shut down, and then it was brought out by the Kirin people. Okay, cool, so there was kind of a bit.
So you're right. So maybe the Kirin Ichiban beer didn't come until later, but it sounds like there was an original brewery, the Spring Valley one, that started out earlier.
Yeah. So it was, the site was chosen where he did it because he dug a cave into the hillside, so it was colder, so he could ferment the lager. And his Germanic beers were popular among the Westerners in the area. But unfortunately, the Spring Valley Brewery closed, and then, was brought out by the Japanese, where Kirin Ichiban kind of came from, on top of that.
Quick question. I know Dravers loves a question. And I know he loves giving really realistic answers to it. So how many countries do you think Kirin is sold in? So this is Kirin Ichiban and potentially Kirin Megumi as well. How many countries do you think it's sold in? Drabwell, we'll go with you first.
Lowball it again, mate.
I was 104.
Jesus Christ.
Oh,
Get
interesting.
Out.
Okay.
Get out. You never...
It's quite a popular beer. I've heard of Kirin Ichiban.
D-Dog, what do you think?
I'm sorry, is that Barber?
No, D-Dog is you.
D-Dog, was that me? Oh, sorry. So it's the first time I've ever heard this nickname. So.
Hey, I'm in Australia.
Excuse me if I don't respond
I'm in
to it.
Australia now. Nicknames are just a thing. You just come up with a nickname. D-Dog is your name now. So D-Dog.
We only call you D-Dog behind your back, mate. That's why.
Right. Yeah.
Come on, D-Dog. Let's go.
I think it's less than what Travis said. I think they're in about 50 countries.
Okay, and Barbatron.
Barbatron. I was kind of hoping for B-Man. D-Dog and B-Man.
No, because you're not in the same group. I feel like
that's fine.
You're more robotic, and D-Dog is like he has
Let's get back on.
He has pet dogs that attack things. Anyway,
and I'm a cold, heartless machine. And And with my superior logic, I'm going to tell you that it's sold in 32 countries.
It is sold in 40 countries, so technically, Barbers is right, I think.
Yeah, I win.
Yeah, you win.
Barbatron has won!
Right, let's get on to Kirin itself.
Don't call me Barbatron.
What do we think of Kirin as what makes Kirin unique? And one phrase that's sprung to mind, because it's literally printed on the bottle, I've never heard this phrase before, is first press.
Brewing.
And it's right underneath a big droplet, like beer droplet, that looks like. Now, I've done a little bit of research into first press, and it does seem that Kirin and Kirin Ichiban and their products are the only company that does this first press system. Right. So
Yes,
first
Joe,
press.
the question on everyone's lips is, what are you talking about?
I'll give the top line, and then we'll dive into a bit more detail about what that means. So, first press describes the craft of extracting only the first press of liquid from the malt. So this is the ingredient. This is where they claim is where the ingredients are at their purest. So much like the process for extra virgin olive oil.
So what's the
where other
difference?
brewers use.
Sorry, you're about to explain it. So yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So just shush.
Hey Joe, say the thing you're about to say.
So, where most brewers will use a blend of the first and second press, however, Kirin is the only brewer in the world to only use this first press, and this is how they claim is where they get their unique, balanced, and pure taste from.
Right.
Now, who has more technical specifications as to why what makes up this first press situation?
They press it really hard on the first go.
No, Barbara said the word wart, which got me very excited.
Oh my gosh, that is not a thing you would like to say. Anyway, sorry. Yep.
No, I mean excited because it leads to something where you talk about wort in the brewing process. This is the first time we've ever mentioned wort within the brewing process.
This is uncanny.
And
This is just
the entirety of this brewing podcast. So I'm very excited by that we're going to talk about wort now.
So let's say there are 6 stages of the brewing process: mashing, filtration, boiling, fermentation, packaging, shipping. Packaging and shipping, I would probably lump those two in together. But the first press of the wort is, I don't know, I feel like it's a strong German name, Wort. So basically, the first press of the wort is what happens at the filtration stage. So second after you've done the mashing, and it's just that they take this first. Is the first press? I don't know how to articulate it much better than that. It's only the first press. There will be a second press. But the stuff that goes into Kirin Ichban comes out at the first press at the filtration stage.
When we went to the Heineken brewery tour, did we try some wort?
We did.
Didn't we?
We tried some first wort.
Yeah, because that was before the horses. I remember that because there was the wort, then really big horses.
Yeah. Well, we were in the horses were just after the mashing area.
The mashing phase.
It went mashing, horses, filtration.
Yeah. God. Any brewery tour.
So just to get it so they're saying that they don't use the second phase at all.
No,
Not for Kirin Ichiban.
They don't even do it. They don't even do a second press of the wort because they say that is where you get bitter embodied elements of the beer from. Whereas what they want is this first press of the wort, which they refer to as being where you get the clear and the pure ingredients for the beer from.
Okay, cool.
So
we said this is the only company in the world that does this that we know of.
They've put it in big. They've highlighted it in a yellow bar, saying Kirin Ichiban is the only major beer brewing exclusively with first press wort. So there might be smaller breweries and craft brews, etc., that are doing this, but this is the only major beer brewing company that does this.
Do you reckon they were just like We've done it. We've now said it. We've just got to go with it, and we're just going to roll with it, even though it's not as good as everything else. But they've just committed to it.
I don't know. It's something very unique. It's the first company I've come across which has something truly unique within the brewing process. Right? Everyone else is doing different takes on the brewing process and different ways of like flavoring beers or putting pea and red cabbage into beers and stuff. Or talking about how they're unique because of their impact on the environment and blah, 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 blah. Whereas Kirin Ichiban are saying, no, literally, our beer is different.
Yeah.
Because of how we make the beer. It's the first company I've come across which is really clearly saying this is a very different type of beer because of what we do with our wort process.
And surely that means it's more linked to the taste rather than, oh, this is an eco-friendly beer. Doesn't mean it tastes good. What they're saying
Yeah, and this is to drive you towards your really dry and crisp, fresh flavour, I think. Is that fair to say? That's what they're going for?
And what does... So, I've looked at so they have two beers from...
Before we jump...
Oh, sorry, Joe.
Sorry, before we jump on to more beers, I do think we need to talk about taste, because I think you've hit the nail on the head there, Bobs. What do we feel... Let's go around the circle. What's the group feeling about the taste of this beer, then?
So by the way, boys, you've got the Kirin Ichiban, right?
Yeah, well, let's do Kirin Ichiban first, then we'll do the other one.
You go.
Mine is, it's very bitter for a beer.
Interesting.
No, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I'll hold my hands out. Like I think the other Japanese beers we've tried to prefer. I'm finding it a very harsh taste.
Interesting.
When I'm doing it, I wouldn't want to drink. It's kind of a bit more citrusy. I can feel it on my tongue, and I'm not enjoying the aftertaste as well either. It's kind of just a bit lingery too much. It's just a bit too much sharpness and a bit too much bitterness for my liking.
Oh, so you're a little at odds with me. I'm finding it quite smooth. I don't know. Our taste palette is obviously quite... What's so funny about the way I say smooth?
Sorry.
Come on, keep going, Barbara. Keep going.
My Barbatron vocab file is being raided here. No, I find it smooth and crisp, and again, I say every episode how suggestible I am. This, I think Kirin Ichiban describe it themselves as elegant, and for me that's almost quite... I'm moving around my hands in a wavy way. But I find it quite like that. I think it also, adding to that, if you have it really ice cold as well, adds to it. But it's that, it's for me still very clean. Like we talked about Sapporo, but I don't know, almost just like we've sort of dialed it up a little bit, turned it up to 11.
So I think if we're thinking about this in context of Sapporo and Asahi that we talked about in Japan, this is a very different taste to it. It's a very different take on clean. Like it still feels clean. It still feels very Japan. If we're saying that all Japanese beers have an element of clean to them, that's what they want to be. They won't use the word fresh, but it's trying to be a fresh beer. Kirin Ichiban is that kind of like golden, maltier, kind of, I think what you're talking about, Drabas, earlier on, where you're saying like about the flavour, it's different. It isn't your usual Asahi, Sapporo, clean, crisp lager, that just kind of goes down and you don't really get a flavour. You get a really nice flavour for it, but it doesn't really have any lingering taste. Kirin Ichiban, a couple of sips I've had now, my mouth is salivating with the amount of like flavour that's going on here. This is a very long taste that I'm getting with Kirin Ichiban. It's very smooth to your point, Barbara, but I'm also finding it's quite a rich flavour. It has a flavour to it. I just want to put that out there. Like you are going to know you're drinking a Kirin Ichiban. I know they're trying to say that you should put it with food as well, but I would say you almost just have it by itself. Because of how it tastes.
I think they're delivering on what they promised when you say that, though, won't they? Because it's this 100% malt first press, and that you're getting that delivered straight to your taste buds.
I'm just going to throw this. This is probably going to be a bit controversial, and that's it. It's tasting a bit chemically to me.
Oh, okay.
Oh, I don't know.
I find it
interesting.
It's interesting to have a different viewpoint on it.
So I've heard that said about a beer I used to drink in Bristol, locally produced, but that was for a different reason. That it was because it was they used unfined hops in it. Which, as far as I'm aware, someone check me on it, but I don't think that's what Kirin Ichiban do. But maybe again that sort of alludes to the first press and the first press Vort method.
So, Simo, you have a different Kirin product altogether.
Yeah. So the one thing I would say is, does anybody know what Ichiban actually means?
Lipstick for men.
Ichiban. To be fair, every time you're just making me think of Friends and Jerry so much. It basically means first and best in Japanese. So Ichiban means first and best. So that's kind of, I just thought that'd be interesting for you to hear.
That's good.
Didn't know. Now,
which links back to their product proposition of first press as well.
Exactly.
First is best.
I've got the Kirin Megumi. So this supposedly means gift in Japanese.
What, Kirin or Megumi?
No, Megumi.
Not Kirin.
No, Kirin's the company. Megumi means gift, right? So, and essentially, it states that it's smooth, crowned with rich, creamy, noble hops. Don't really know how that's a flavour, but an appetising aroma, complemented with a delicate, fruity character. Now, if I'm going to be completely honest, you've said, Joe, that it kind of the flavour carries on. It's quite a slow burn almost. I would say this is almost the opposite, where it hits you straight away.
Right.
It hits you straight away, and it reminds me probably. It's kind of like it's almost got like a kick, not a kick to it, but it's like it hits you really early, and you enjoy it, and you like it, and it's refreshing. But it's not as, and it's quite light. So I'm like it, and for instance, they do claim on the can that it's 99.9% sugar free. And also it's, so I would say you've said it has like that like long flavour, right? I feel like this is like the short, sharp version of yours. And it is crisper. So it's more kind of like, oof, kind of drink rather.
Do you think that's their take on like the Sapporo Asahi drinkers palate? You know, this is their kind of crisp, like refreshing version, whereas the Kirin Ichiban original is that kind of, it's just something different.
Yeah, I would say it's like it has a very similar twang to like the Asahi and the Sapporo. It's like I'm actually really sad that I haven't had a chance to taste the Ichiban because you're all telling me it's so different.
It's delicious. Well, I think it's delicious. I would say I think it's opened up, but I would also say they have other beers as well, and I want to read these out to you because I think they're fascinating. Yeah. Also, if you get a chance to Google these and what they look like, the cans are phenomenal. So, Kirin Ichiban Koronama, which is their dark beer. Okay.
What's it called?
You've got the Kirin Ichiban Koronama. This one is worth a Google. The Kirin Ichiban Torretate Hop. So this is their idea of like an IPA, let's say, and they've gone for a crazy design on the can. And we'll talk about design in a second, because I know Draba's got something in this locker. And there is a Kirin Ichiban frozen beer as well. So this is only from Kirin Ichiban, a beer frozen at -5 degrees Celsius that stays cold for 30 minutes and is delivered in a unique snowy foam texture.
What?
So it's a foam texture. I mean, I have to try this thing. I have no idea. So it's a foam, ice cold, -5 degrees,
like a slushy
beer. Yeah, basically, it's a beer slushy.
I just imagine like shaving foam, like some sort of like Willy Wonka stuff, and you go.
That's incredible. We have to try and find this Kirin Ichiban frozen beer. Maybe you can only get it in Japan. I don't know, but that is phenomenal. We have to try that.
I'm looking at it. That's going to need a flake in the top, by the looks of it.
Yes.
So I touched a bit about design. Then let's talk about the design of this Kirin Ichiban. And Grabbers, can you tell us a bit about this? Whatever it is on the front of the bottles.
Well, as you guys know, I'm a big fan of mythical creatures, and especially mythical creatures on said beer bottles and everything like that. Don't worry, Simo, I've got it.
No. Can you show me, no, I was basically saying, can you show me yours?
Oh.
Because I don't know what it looks
There
like.
we go. So we've got this cool mythical creature. Like, Barbara, what would you say that is?
It's like a horse dragon.
Or horse dragon. I like
Horse
that.
dragon with
Horse
a tree on the end.
Or a dragon horse. It's a horse dragon. You know, it's like a horse is also part dragon.
So well, it's actually called a Kirin. So
And we've come full circle.
There we go. So Kirin is the Japanese translation for a four-legged creature originating in Chinese mythology. The Kirin is a strong and magnificent Japanese spirit or monster, similar to unicorns. The Kirin is often associated with peace, a symbol of prestige. And yeah, as you can see on the bottle, on the label, the Kirin's body is covered by holy fire. Yeah. So it's a positive symbol to have on your beer. And yeah, as Barbara said, horse-like, so it is kind of unicornish. Was in the description,
yeah.
But I think more. Yeah, it's a unique animal. It's not a well-known animal in say Western culture and everything like that. But I'm there for mythical creatures on beers, and I think we should have more of them. I think Foster's should
It's fascinating.
embody something.
I'm really pleased to learn about the Kirin mythical creature, and the fact that it's on there because it is so distinctive. It's fascinating.
You're touching on something there, Drabbers. You've got the homebrew on the way. Maybe you should like make Minotaur beer or
Yes.
I can't think why not.
I'll probably go for troll that lives.
The Drabator.
I was going to go.
Yeah.
Yes, the Drabator.
Goblin Brew.
I was going to go for troll that lives under bridge.
Oh yeah.
And that, yeah,
that tried to eat Billy Goat's gruff. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, I was going to say, I think that's probably more the level of what my beer is going to taste like.
Troll beer.
Troll beer.
When you've had a hard day rampaging in the swamp. And
you've been taking money off people under a bridge.
Yeah.
So Simo, does your beer have a Kirin on it?
So Joe, you've said this before. It's embossed. Is that
Oh,
right?
embossed Kirin.
Nice. Okay, so it's made its way onto the
And
shoulder
then
of the
Kirin
bottle.
However, the main logo design is almost like a thumb smudge. That sounds really crap.
Okay. It's like a crafted paintbrush stroke.
If I'm honest, I don't know what the Japanese says, but I'm guessing it says Kirin.
But it's Japanese symbols
It's almost like an artistic paint smudge, which is very Japanese. It sounds really stupid, but this looks so Japanese.
I'm trying to figure out where I've seen it before. I'm sure that it's
and it is really, it's a cool looking bottle, and it is green. Now, I really like a green bottle. I just think there's something that makes it feel really classic, almost, when it's green. But it's very different to yours, which is is it white and gold? Is that right? Yeah, so yours is white and gold. Is your bottle still green?
No, it's brown.
Brown. Okay, so mine's green and white. So green with white etching on it. So it's very different to yours, and they're also trying to distinguish itself from yours. Whilst, Joe, you've said that the other two drinks, so the other two beverages they have are Kirin Ichiban, basically modifications. So this is so different to your one, which makes me sad because I wish I had tried yours. But it's obviously very distinguished, and it's also trying to be, I feel like this is trying to be very classy in its style. But I feel that my beer is so different to yours. It would always be useful. I need to obviously try yours because it's going to be that you've talked about full flavors and the long-lasting effects, and Drabble's told us that he doesn't like it. But my one is very different to yours, and it's very sharp and almost crisp to it.
So the design of this Kirin Megumi was created and launched to honor the Japanese brand's heritage. So I wanted to do a little bit more on the Kirin Ichiban, or the Kirin story. So Kirin was at one point in 1972, it was 60% of the domestic market share of beer. This is Kirin was. So this is a big deal in Japan. Yeah, domestic means Japan. Yeah, that's where it's from. Yeah, so just kind of, I guess, wrapping up on why actually we hadn't heard too much of Kirin Ichiban. We're quite familiar with Japanese beers being Sapporo and Asahi, but actually Kirin Ichiban in 1972 was 60% of the domestic market share of beer. So it's a really, really big deal in Japan. And actually, Kirin Ichiban itself only came into its existence in 1990. So that's the beer that we know today as Kirin Ichiban, is the beer. Well, that only came in 1990, whereas Kirin as a product and a brand have been out for a lot longer. Since that 1888 that we've been talking about. So definitely a brand worth checking out for. I think you can sit on one or two ways with the flavour, as we've shown with Drabbers and Barbara and I's opinion on the Kirin Ichiban, and obviously Simo's review on the more crisper. That's not a word. Simo's review on what was your
Kirin
one called?
Megumi.
And Megumi as well. Trying to take on a more kind of fresh palate. So Instagram, Kirin Ichiban have 2,000 followers, and Kirin Ichiban UK on Twitter have 2,000 followers as well. So again, they're breaking that out by country.
Good numbers. Tasty beer. Enjoy.
And that's all we have time for this week's episode of the I'll Try That podcast. And so from me, Joe, Rich,
Barbara,
and Simo,
goodbye. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram,
Twitter,
I'll try that podcast.com,
and watch us on YouTube.
Goodbye now.